Hey everyone, Cameron here with my day 3/4 update. I'll probably do another update in like, I don't know, like 14, 15 hours. But I got some errands I gotta run, and I got a bunch of family in town this weekend for holiday stuff. So I haven't been able to play a ton. I'm still somewhat behind on League Start, but I have been doing a lot of experimenting and a lot of planning out, and wanted to give you the latest updates from what I found for Disciple of Varashta. And I once again have good news and some bad news. The final answer is you can, in fact, weapon swap to cast command skills. You have to right click on the command skill, though, to get to the right screen to set up the weapon swap. Shout out to Kurosh M on Reddit for figuring this out. I'll link the Reddit article in the description as well. So to do that, like Navira's Fracture, you right click on it, and it'll take you to this screen where you can then choose which weapon set you want to use it on. So that's the good news. The bad news is the command skills take a veritable eternity to cast when you weapon swap. And if you swap back before the Jinn finishes casting their ability, then it cancels their cast. What I mean by that is let me swap to my wand and focus real quick. So if I use Kalari's Judgment, which I have set to use with weapon set 1, make sure I'm using the wand and focus. If I cast, now it shows up, and it's stuck over there. Even though if I let this go over here, you'll see it hit the ground, and there it is. It doesn't go on cooldown. These stay hanging up here forever. And then eventually when the invisible cooldown stops going, then I can move these. And it's charging in the background, and then I can drop them. It's yeah. It's interesting. And if I weapon swap, while those are hanging out in the sky, they drop, but nothing happens to them. So, and it's the same thing for the fracture. So, in fact, I'll just go into this map real quick and show you what I mean by how long it takes. You can compare it to my gameplay video in the last one too. You get full infusions, make some chill to ground. All right, so I'm gonna press the button, and now it blows up. Whereas if I actually cast Ice Nova, and then I'll weapon swap. This is how long it took before, so I'll press the button, and there it is. Blew up. It's so fast when I'm just holding the scepter. But if I weapon swap, let me find another pack real quick. It takes forever. So, that's what I mean by that. So where does this leave us? Unless there is a fix in the future for the delay and bugs that I've seen so far, and I haven't playtested this a whole lot yet, and I've already run into this, then we're still stuck with either scaling minions, using a scepter and focus, or scaling spells, probably with a staff and focus, since you could do that with ascendancy, and using the whatever you're not scaling, using the other one for utility. Like if I choose to scale spells, which is probably what I'm going to try next, I might take this and this for critical weakness, maybe this for some exposure. I probably won't take this unless I want Navir as well for the energy shield recharge rate and instant start of energy shield recharge. And then I'll probably go here for using a staff with a focus and just scale a bunch of spell damage on my tree. One other downside, the initial command skill that you get from the minion, or from the Jinn, you cannot weapon swap. So, if I want to use Kalari's Brutality, I have to swap manually. That's another thing I forgot to mention. All that said, I have made it to tier 8 map so far, and I haven't played a ton. And I don't have, my gear is not all that great, but I made it to tier 8 maps with just scaling minion damage and using Navira's Fracturing as my main source of damage. It's been really fun. It does not feel all that clunky, and I can intersperse the Kalari command skills while waiting for Navira's cooldown to stack critical weakness when I'm fighting bosses. All in all, it has felt quite good up to this point. The damage is a bit low, but since we can only do so much on the passive tree. We can spend a bunch of the passive tree scaling our tankiness so we won't die very often. I'm not sure how much more I can scale the damage on it, though, in the end game. And it's pretty much only minion damage, minion crit chance, minion crit damage bonus, along with skill gem levels that scale the damage for the Jin command skills. The extra damage against frozen enemies nodes on the passive tree, like this one here, or this, they don't do anything for the command skills. That only affects your damage. So what I do is I stack Curse and Exposure effect on the passive tree to further boost the damage to enemies with the Jin command skills, and use Elemental Weakness as an aura. That way I don't have to cast it. I can just worry about alternating Ice Nova with Frost Bomb and the Kalari skills and Navira's Fracturing. You could potentially take a double Curse, use Whispers of Doom, and use Temp Chains as an aura for more defense, or use Vulnerability to boost your Kalari command skill damage. I do think that you could farm tier 15 maps with that setup. I don't think you'll farm them very fast, but it'll be fairly comfy, and it'll be a pretty low budget build when it's all said and done. Since I already just made some changes to my passive tree for spell damage to try out this weapon swap tech, I'm going to try option number 2 now for scaling spell damage and using the Jins for utility, or I may end up ditching them entirely. I'm not sure yet. But the defenses that you get from the Ascendancy feel pretty good so far. This, paired with Bark Skin, is quite nice now that I have a good amount of armor in ES. I don't even have that much armor in ES yet, and it already feels pretty good. Same with this. The extra recharge rate when I'm on low energy shield is really nice. When I decide to go CI eventually, that may not feel as nice, since when you're on low energy shields, you're panicking. We'll see. We'll see how this does. But even in the -1 second to base energy shield recharge delay is pretty nice. So yeah. I'm going to try scaling spell damage. I'll probably end up doing some meta skills like Cast on Freeze, or sorry, Cast on Ailment, maybe Cast on Crit if I do a high enough budget to fit all of that in. Not 100% sure. We'll see what I end up doing. But I want to try that route now that since I already tried the scaling minion damage route, at least on a low budget. But that's where I'm at with my updates. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them, or anything that you figured out. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.